What's up, B Squad? It is your boy JB, and we are here today with the season finale of Raising Power Book 3, Raising Kanan, Season 2, Episode number 10. The episode is titled, If You Don't Know, Now You Know. So, you guys, before we go ahead and just jump into this review, if you guys are watching this video or any other on the channel, and you aren't subscribed to the channel, turn on your post notifications, subscribe to the channel, thumbs up the video, you guys, share the video. And with that out the way, without further ado, let's talk about our show, Raising Kanan, shall we? All right, you guys, so I gotta say, for a season finale, this was good. I enjoyed every minute of it. Now, there was one particular moment in this episode where I had to cover my eyes. I was like, Jesus, no, please don't do it. Please don't do what I think you're finna do. But he didn't. So, I'm going to start up with, let's see, because it's a lot in this episode. So I think we shall start up with Mr. Fame. So we see Fame. So Fame, he's talking to Kanan, and he's telling Kanan, like, hey, my man, like, if you don't keep staying here, you got to pitch in on something. So Kanan asked him, like, what do you think about getting back out on them corners? Fame said, what we going to sell? This ass? I was like, well, you know, Fame, you two are some young boys, so you guys make some money. Just saying. So Kanan was like, nah, the way he talks, he clenches his jaw like 50 Cent and everything. So he says he gonna get some work from Rock. I'm like, oh, that's what you gonna do. So we see Kanan. So Kanan went over to the projects and stole some of Rock's product. I was like, well, damn. Normally, Kanan, when he steals her product, he just goes in there and, you know, he tries to be inconspicuous. This time, little nigga went in there and just said, ploop, and just threw the shit in his bag. Uncle Marvin was there, and Marvin's like, wait a minute, what you doing? He says, I'm coming to get some of my product. He's like, do your mother know? I don't give a fuck. I was like, oh, he don't give a fuck. Okay. So Marvin says, well, I got to tell your mom. He says, tell her, I don't give a fuck. And he walks out. I was like, oh, okay, Kanan. I mean, I guess. So, you guys remember last week's episode when Fame's dumbass shot old boy. Remember, the door cracked open, right? Well, it was so we see a cop, and he's talking to that neighbor who lives in that apartment, asking him what he knows. So Fame might be safe for now, but I don't think it's gonna last that long, because the guy who lives in that apartment, he didn't give the cop any kind of information. So I'm like, okay, Fame, you live to be stupid another day and say the N-word. God, I can't stand it. That's the one thing about Fame that I just can't stand, is that he says nigga a lot. And you ain't a black Puerto Rican. You is a white Puerto Rican. Well, from what I see on the show, because I don't know what the young man is who played. I mean, I'm pretty positive he's Puerto Rican, but I don't know if he's I don't know. But I just know I don't like Fame saying it, because on this show, little nigga, you is a white Puerto Rican. You are not a black Puerto Rican. So so then we see Kanan and Fame. So they're out on the street, you know, hustling. And Kanan, you know, Fame was like, didn't your mama say that she don't want nobody on the corners? And once again, Kanan said he don't give a damn. I was like, okay, Kanan, I think this is gonna backfire and bite you in the behind. And lo and behold, it bit him right in the ass. So they did make a little money on the streets, right? But at one point, who drove by and saw Kanan? You guessed it. That Bitch Burke. So she drove by, so she turned that car, she hit reverse, she drove back up on Kanan, and she picked up Kanan. I was like, damn. So then we see Burke. So this nosy heifer took him to the spot that he shot Howard at, right? So she said, so you Howard's son, and your mother was his CI, and then you shot him right here. Did you shoot him because you found out that he was your father? I'm so glad Kanan told her, you don't know nothing that you're talking about. So she said, okay, well, if you don't want to tell me anything, I'm just going to arrest you. He says, on what basis? She says, for, you know, intent to distribute, right? So he pushed up against her and she fell on the ground. Look like an old scared Karen. I'm like, oh, so now you want to be big and bad, but so you want to be big and bad. Like, girl, somebody please take her out. So after that, Kanan ran to Howard and told him about Bert. So Howard told Kanan, well, she don't have anything, because if she did, she would have done already went and told what she knows, right? So he says, me, you, and your mother, we got to get together and we got to get our story straight. We got to come up with the plan. The plan is to square right here in the square right here with that heifer. That's what the plan is, to go square right here with Burke. That's the only plan that we got, right? So let's pause here and let's move forward, you guys. Yeah, let's talk about Lou and Zisa real quick, right? So Lou is in the studio. So Lou got some mail, and he opened it up, right? And there's this thing from a bank. It's a statement, and it shows that I think it was like $30,000 in the account. So Zisa comes into the studio. She wants to get in the booth, and he was like, I thought you were gonna take some time off because of Cartier. She's like, nah, I came up with this, this beat that I want to, sing on, right? So Lou plays the beat. Now y'all can tell me if I'm wrong, but when Lou played that beat, I was like, wait a minute, you bitch. I know damn well your raggedy ass didn't do what I think you did. Cause that when he played that beat, I was like, nigga, that is an offbeat Real Love by Mary J. Blige. Cause that beat, when it first started, I'm like, that is Real Love by Mary J. Blige. So then we see Lou. So we see Lou, he's down at the bank, right? So when he's at the bank, come to find, you guys remember a few episodes ago when Crown called Rock to the studio, right? Well, we didn't know what they did. Well, Crown and Rock worked out a plan, and it just basically fucked over poor Lou, right? So Crown sold over 15% of his shares of the label to Rock in the event that he was incapacitated or not here anymore. And that's what happened. I was like, oh damn, Lou. Rock told you she owned you by the balls, and she proved that. I don't know why Lou didn't think about that because when Rock told you about Crown coming to him, why do you think that maybe Rock and him worked out a deal, and that if you took him out, that was gonna screw you over? But hey, it is what it is, right? So we see Lou. So Lou went back to the studio and he was pissed off. So Lou was packing up his shit because he said he's done with this shit. And this is after he had a conversation with Rock, and I'm gonna talk about that conversation in just a little bit, right? So let's pause here and let's move forward. All right, you guys. So next up, let's talk about Jukebox. So you guys remember the young man that pretended that he was interested in Jukebox? Well, come to find out, Kenya put him up to that. Ooh, Kenya, girl. At the end of the episode, I knew it was gonna happen, but damn, it was funny to me. I'm getting ahead of myself. So yeah, so Juke pushed up on him. She was like, so you and my mom, y'all worked some shit out? He was like, yeah. She's like, he was like, your mama thought you was living wrong, so they just wanted to confirm that, basically. And he said that he told Kenya that he called her the D word, a D word ass bitch that's too ugly to get with him. Baby, Juke, she came with pop. She popped his ass. She kept popping him and she kicked him, beating his ass. So then the cops came up on her and arrested her, right? So we see Jukebox. Jukebox was able to get out of jail. Who do you guys believe helped Jukebox to get out of jail? You guessed it. It's that nosy ass Burke. So so Burke is, asking Jukebox if Kanan is Howard's son. She was like, nah, his daddy's name is Def Con. That's why his last name is Stark. I was like, come on, Juke. Don't give her nothing. But Juke says, you know what? Since you helped me, I'm gonna give you a solid. So them niggas that you running with, they trying to set you up. I was like, well, you know what? I'm cool with that. So now Burke knows that they on her tail. So we're gonna see Burke again in season 3, unfortunately. Somebody that I just did not ever want to see again. Her and Blanca Rodriguez. But it is what it is, right? So since I'm talking about Burke, let's just go ahead and just knock out Burke's scenes, right? Actually, no. We'll wrap up with Burke with Juke, but then we'll move over to, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna end this last scene with Juke. So Jukebox went to go see Nicole's dad. Now you guys know that Nicole's dad wants Juke to tell the cops that it was Burke who supplied Nicole with the drugs that, you know, unlived Nicole. But Jukebox told him, you know, I can't lie on her. So she told him the truth that Nicole got those rocks off of her. He doesn't believe it because, you know, he knows how the cops are in her neighborhood. But she says, yeah, I can't do that. What you asked me to do, I can't do because it's not true. It's interesting. She's an honest person in this show. But when we got her in power, she was a dirty cop. I'm still wondering how we're gonna get to the dirty cop part of Juke, and how we're gonna get to the rift that Juke and Kanan had in power. It's gonna be interesting, and I'm kind of curious, when are we going to get? So I know when Power originally ended, they showed at the end of it, they showed that scene with a young Angela, a young Ghost, and a young Tommy, right? So I'm wondering if in this iteration will we, but I'm pretty positive we will, right? Because at some point Kanan's gonna have to, you know, I wonder if that's what I'm wondering. Because at some point we're gonna get introduced to Ghost and Tommy and Angela. But the one thing that I do want to point out that I've noticed this entire season, none of them have been to school. Like, I ain't saw not one of them go to school this season. Just pointing that out as well. So yeah, so we wrapped that up. So in this episode, Burke was looking for Sam, right? So she went to this spot where all the cluckers, you know, stay at, right? And they were all up in there getting high. So she's asking them about Sam. One of them said that, you know, Sam came through here a few days ago and nigga had some money in his pocket. So he went up to this other spot where they got, you know, where it's bougie because they got heat. I'm like, a crack spot that's bougie? So she asked him for the address. I'm like, it's a crack house, girl. I'm pretty sure you can tell, you know what a crack house look like, but okay. So then we see Burke after she's had the conversation with Jukebox. She's talking to her girlfriend, and homegirl is spooked. I'm like, finally, she's spooked. Maybe she'll stop, but I doubt it. I doubt she will, you guys. So let's pause here and move forward. All right, you guys. So let's start up with where the episode actually began. So this episode, we saw Sam. So Sam was getting high, right? So he got another crackhead on the side of him, and Marvin came up into that spot and popped the other crackhead. I was like, ooh. And I felt so bad for Marvin in this particular scene, because Marvin was doing the right thing in last week's episode by not taking Sam out. He gave Sam some money. He told Sam to get out of town, but Sam decided to stay, and I just don't know why. You know who you know who Marvin is. You know what Marvin does. Excuse me, y'all. You know who Marvin is. You know what Marvin does. Why would you stick around like that? Like, what Sam did was so stupid in my personal opinion. So Sam, he pulled up on Sam. So Sam was begging and pleading with Marvin. Like, Marvin, I'll get on the bus. I'm on the bus. I'm like, it's too late, Sam. He told you if he saw you around, it was over for you. So Sam talking about, well, let me take this last hit before you do it. I was like, that is terrible. You want to get one last high before you meet your maker. But Sam took his last hit and pop. Marvin popped him, right? So then we see later in the episode that Burke and Howard found Sam's body, right, she thought it was execution, right? And, Howard's like, I don't think so, right? So then she tells him that, not Marvin, but Sam was going to basically tell her who tried to take him out. And he was like, Sam ain't nobody reliable. Did he have some, over the years, did he have some good tips? Yeah, but Sam is not somebody that I would 100% rely on. So then we see, this is the scene where I told you guys, I covered my eyes because I was like, I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. So Marvin went home at one point in this episode, right? Marvin opened the door, and the way that the camera was positioned, because you can see the camera facing his couch, I was like, oh my God, please, for the love of God, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it, Lord, don't do it. So Marvin heard footsteps, so Marvin went into the couch cushion and pulled out a gun, and I was like, oh no, that's not coming out. I was like, please, Lord, don't, no, I don't want to see Marvin. Like, it's crazy, you guys, because season 1, Marvin was the fuck up, right? But going into season 2, I've actually found myself like really, really, really liking Marvin. Like, I love Marvin now, right? I didn't even think I would like Marvin, especially after what he did to Jukebox last season. I just see myself liking Marvin. But yeah, I was like, so no. So nobody was in the house. But what happened is Jukebox was in there. So Jukebox said that she's moving back home, right? So we move over and we see Marvin. So Marvin went to the projects and he was trying to get them, find out what the day's total is. So I'm gonna pause here, you guys, and we're going to go ahead and just wrap this episode up with, this episode, you guys, was a good one. When I tell you good. All right, you guys, so before I talk about Rock, I want to talk about Sal. So Sal went to see someone whose name is Stefano, right? And, Stefano gave Marvin his condolence, not Marvin, but Sal his condolences, right? About, the death of his son. So Sal is telling him it's going to get a little loud around here, right? So I didn't want to, basically step on your toes and, make troubles for you. So the man's basically telling him, I don't want any parts of this. And your little dark friend, I am so over them with the whole racist shit. It's the racism for me. But he's telling him that Rock had came down to see him, right? So he don't want any parts of it, but do what you got to do and go back to your side, Sal. Don't come back over here, right? So the episode, we see Rock. So Rock met up with Unique, right? And Neek is telling Rock about the fact that, Sal is looking, coming for her. And she was like, so I'm pretty sure you told Sal where to find me. And he was like, nah, it ain't nothing like that, right? So she said, she tells him, once all this is done with the Italians, I'm going to be worldwide. And she says that she can use some heads. They know how to ship things, right? And Unique was like, nah, baby. I ain't nobody's employee. Me and Warrell, we got our own, we finna move on to greener pastures. So Neek asked Rock, did she ever have a little thing for him? I'm like, ooh, season 3? I want to see it. I want to see Neek and, because there is some sexual chemistry between Neek and Rock. There's some sexual chemistry there, and I want to see it. Would love to see that on screen. Even though I know she has a husband, I would love to see that on screen. Whew. Because a Neek and Rock sex scene is gonna be a good one. So we see where we at now? Oh, so after that we saw when Marvin was talking to Rock. So at one point, actually no, before that, Rock was talking to Marvin and Lou about Unique, how she asked Unique, basically if he was in bed with Saladin. She didn't tell him anything, but he said he ain't give her up, right? So she tells them that she got some shooters that's coming up to help them put in the work. And she said she's talked to the Don and he not stepping in, right? So when they left out, she's still a little apprehensive about Lou. So Marvin is defending Lou. She's like, wait a minute, you defending Lou? Yep, it's a different day, right? So Marvin then tells her about Kanan coming to the coming to the projects and taking the drugs. And she's like, you know what, I'm gonna handle Kanan. But right now, we gotta show these Italians we not one to fuck with, right? So we see Marvin and Lou, right? So they in the back of these cars and they got these ski masks that they put over their faces, right? And they got the guns and they pull up on the Italians and just start just blasting. So Sal came out and Sal was pissed, right? So then we see Rock. Rock is doing a meeting with the dude that was working with Cartier, right? Come to find out, Raquel got screwed over in this situation because this dude has went and made a deal with Joaquin. So Rock pulled up on Joaquin to say, like, Joaquin, what the fuck was that? Like, you know, me and you had a deal, like, and you went back on it? Like, that's not good business, Joaquin. So come to find out, it really wasn't Joaquin who did it. It was Juliana. And she's like, the only reason why Juliana did this shit is because Juliana is upset because I got in business with Unique after Unique did what he did to her. And Joaquin is looking at Juliana like, she's not one to fuck with. And Juliana will say, well, neither is she. I'm like, really, Juliana? Because, baby girl, you was scared shitless when Unique kidnapped you. But okay, girlfriend, I'm going to let you live for right now. I'm going to let you have it. I'm going to let you live. So, you guys, then we see Rock. So, Rock is in that house is empty as hell, right? And she was looking at this car with flowers, and she just tossed it up against the wall. So, she was pissed. I'm like, well, Raquel, you've done a lot of this shit to yourself, right? I mean, I know what your plans were, but I think a lot of this you can kind of put it on yourself. Like, love you, Raquel, but some of this shit is on you, right? So, so then she also tells, because Lou came in, right? And she tells Lou about how she fucked up the situation with Scrap. Scrap wasn't the informant, it was his mama. And then she talked, that's when her and Lou got into it, right? She told Lou, baby brother, I own you. I felt so bad for Lou in that particular moment because you could see he was puffing a cigarette and he wanted to cry. I'm like, oh, Lou, just let it out, baby. Just let it on out. So, I want to pause here and we going to wrap up the episode, you guys. All right, you guys. So, the end of the episode was action-packed. It was good. So, the end of the episode. So, we see Neek and Worrell. So Neek and Worrell are at the projects, right, in Jersey, right? So we see a lot of people doing their jobs. You know, we see men, you know, them counting the money up, right? So we hear somebody knock at the door, and one of the dudes opened up the door in one apartment, and it was the Italians, and they just came through and brr, brr, brr. So they got two guys, and then one dude. He popped, I think he popped another guy, but then he got popped. So one guy left out, baby. Then the next guy, he went down to the apartment where Worrell and Neek were, right? And just started blasting up in there, right? So it was two in there, right? So somebody blasted, so, you know, Neek was able to blast one, Neek and Worrell was able to get one guy, but then another guy shot Worrell and took out Worrell. I was like, oh, poor Worrell. Can't even say his name right now. Worrell. I was like, poor tongue twister. Worrell. So then we see that Sal also sent some of his boys to the studio to get Lou. So when so remember, Lou was leaving the studio, right? It was Lou and Zisa, and their baby Zisa got blasted. I was like, she's gone. Bye. Don't ever have to see you again, girlfriend. It was nice knowing you. Not really. So Zisa got popped. I was like, oh shit, Lou is outnumbered. So Lou had some, I think he like had some headphones or something in his hand. So he threw him to the right, and the one dude shot. So Lou was able to pop both of them. I was like, thank God. Praise the Lord that Lou is still alive. So then we move over to the projects where Marvin is, right? So they show up to the projects where Marvin is. I was like, oh no. I was ready to cry. Cause y'all, like I told y'all earlier, like I'm starting to really, you know, I can say it. I love Marvin. Like Marvin is grown on me. Like I love Marvin. I think I'm loving Marvin a lot more than I do Raquel. And that's really so. Just taking a little bit of a break, right? Like you guys know, season one and this season, Raquel is my girl. I love me some Raquel, right? But the change that I saw in Marvin has really, really gone a long way with me, especially after how Marvin was season one. And it's like I really, truly dig Marvin. I fuck with Marvin. Marvin is my nigga. Marvin is my boy. I don't want nothing to happen to Marvin. And you guys remember last season, it was Lou that I wanted nothing to happen to. And I still don't want nothing to happen to Lou. I just think that Lou gets in over his head. I get that Lou wants out of the business, but the way that Lou approaches things, I don't think his approach is the best approach. But you guys can let me know what you think in the comments below. So Marvin and one dude, they were going to create a distraction because they put they threw the drugs down the chute, right? So Marvin, he hit somebody, but at the same time Marvin got hit in the stomach. Oh no, oh no, oh no. So one of the Italians knew that he hit Marvin, so he's like, he ain't finna get that far. So Marvin ran down the stairs and he went to one of the apartments. So he was knocking on the door. He's like, "It's Marvin, let me in. It's Marvin, let me in." I'm like, "Bitch, let him in. Let Marvin in that apartment hole before I come through that door and beat your ass," right? Like, cause I was ready to jump. I was ready to fight whoever was on the other side of that door. But luckily enough, I think this was the man from the episode. Remember the episode when the man was complaining about the elevator, the man in the wheelchair? I think that was him who said, "Yo, come here, I got you." I was like, thank God. I was about to cry, y'all. I was about to lose my shit at that moment when I was like, oh my God, somebody say Marvin. Somebody say Marvin. So the Italians left, right? So we move over to Rock's place, right? So Rock's men, they gone. Kenya walks up. I was like, oh, they gonna take Kenya out thinking that Kenya is Raquel. So Kenya knocks on the door. Rock hears it. So Rock goes to, to the where the cutlery is, right? And she grabs a gun and she goes to the door and she was like, wait a minute, where my men at? They let you up here? So Rock sees the Italians. She's like, come in. Child, Kenya didn't even get the chance to get in there because Kenya just got blasted in the back. I was like, bye Kenya, won't miss you. Not after what you did to Jukebox, won't miss you. So Kenya got blasted. So Rock was sitting there waiting for them to come. So Rock got the gun pointed, right? So one of them come and she pops him, and then the other one pops her in the arm. I was like, oh my God. But I know that we got a season 3, so I'm like, she's not going anywhere. So Rock was like, do what you gotta do. So we hear a gunshot, boom. And Rock's eyes got big. But you see the guy, he starts gushing blood and he falls. And who was there to save Raquel? Unique. I was like, okay, Unique. I was like, yes. It's so interesting. Like season 1 couldn't stand Unique and Marvin, but season 2, I am team Marvin and Neek, right? So when Rock walked outside, Rock and Unique, they walked outside, and up pulls Kanan and Howard. I was like, ooh, how you gonna explain this situation? I don't know. Now that's what's gonna be interesting going into season 3 is how is Rock gonna have to be able to play out this whole Kanan and Howard thing, and especially with her, it looked like she's gonna be going into business with Unique, right? But I guess actually, I guess it kind of could work in their favor, right? If they play things the right. I think that going into season 3, Howard could be a benefit to them with him being a cop. They could, we know he's a good, he seems like he's by the book, right? But I think going into season 4, not season 4, but season 3, I think that going into season 3, Howard could be an ally for them. But we'll see, you guys. But that was the season finale of Power Book 3, Raising Kanan. You guys, let me know what you guys thought about this episode. I so enjoyed it. Season 2 was really, really good to me. I've enjoyed every episode of season 2. I don't think there's been a bad episode. So yeah, you guys. So now all we gotta wait for is book 2, which I don't know when book 2 is coming. Typically, last year book 2 came in November, but we're a few weeks away from November. I know that they're doing a BMF special next Sunday. Next Sunday is the 23rd, right? Yeah, they're doing a BMF special next Sunday, but I also know that BMF is coming back in January, right? Let me know if you guys watched season 1 of BMF, and let me know in the comment section. If I'm not going to say that I'm going to review it, but let me know if you guys watched BMF season 1. Let me know if you guys liked season 1 of BMF, and let me know. I'm just asking this question. I'm not saying that I'm going to do it. I'm just asking. Would you guys like it if I reviewed season 2 of BMF? Yay or nay? That's all I need. I'm not saying. So when BMF season 2 starts, don't be like, JB, you said you know. JB did not say it. He just asked you guys a question. I just want to know if you guys would be if I do decide to do it, is there something that you guys would be interested in watching? Let me know that in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next one. So you guys be safe. Take care of yourselves. Stay safe. Take care of yourselves. Wash your hands. Wear a mask. Socially distance. Be blessed. And I'm going to see you guys later. I will see you guys. So I got 2 more videos to record. I'm doing American Horror Story episodes 1 and 2. And I will then be back for Potomac later tonight, you guys. So stay safe. Take care of yourselves. Wash your hands. Wear a mask. Socially distance. I know I said that. Be blessed. Thumbs up the video. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye.